I think there's a rule with media, anime especially. It's that it's best not to have any expectations going in. When I start something, I will normally do so because of how people around me have perceived its quality, less so much on what the story is. And yes, this is where you make the I watch it for the plot jokes. And I think this lack of reliance on synopses is a good thing with anime. Have you ever tried reading some of the synopses they put out? They're just kinda dumb. For example, The Pet Girl of Sakurasu. The synopsis given on Real Good is evident of the problem of describing the entire narrative focusing only on one character. Because while I would give a synopsis of romantic misadventures of a student dorm after a seemingly innocent girl, or at least as innocent as this quote will have you believe, moves in. Real Good thought otherwise, as they describe it as Sora Takanda, a high school sophomore living in Sakuraso, the den of their academy's problem children, spends his days being dragged around by the strange residents, swearing he's going to escape Sakuraso one day. It's a rom-com drama, not the fucking Shawshank Redemption. I must admit, I didn't think much of Sarata the first time I laid eyes on him. He looked like a protagonist no one would remember unless they decided to make a video comparing the waifus in the show.
What do you say, Ren?
Awful Morgan Freeman impressions aside, Shirobako also falls into this problem. To bridge what Crunchyroll said, 5 girls make an anime in high school and want to make another one together. Fairly accurate for the first 3 minutes of the show, and literally no point forwards from that. But I can't really complain about people misrepresenting Shirobako's story, because let's face it, if you only knew about it from my descriptions of it, you would assume it was about Konogi, Emma, and literally no one else. To be fair, I'd still love it if the show was just those two. So you know your line, April? Dumb question, of course you do. Well, if you know about it but haven't watched it, then I suggest you use the timecode I left in the description to skip this part, because your line April's pretty brilliant, and Netflix spoiled it. So the description is fine, decent description, nothing given away, just a shame that it's showed alongside this image. You know, Carrie exploding on my emotionally fragile ass, that sounded wrong. But thankfully this was after I finished the series, so it didn't spoil Carrie's death for me. No, that got spoiled when I was 9 episodes in. Funny thing, it was spoiled for me in real life. The one place where no one talks about anime and I got Carrie's death spoiled for me. Maybe this is why I thought that Watari had the saddest moment in the series. Power of surprises, I guess. But let's talk about Noragami. Not a personal favourite of mine, but entertaining nonetheless. Crunchyroll was advertising this series on their front page, but they didn't have the time to sense check it, as we're shown that Noragami is the story of the minor god Yato who meets Hiyori. I shouldn't really expect otherwise from a series where a tramp teaches a teenage boy how to use his sword properly while a schoolgirl watches. Forget Crunchyroll, this series needs to be on Pornhub. But to be fair to these companies, they run into a problem when advertising something most regular viewers wouldn't consider watching. For example, March Comes In Like a Lion, a show which I'm making my way through and is, from the 9 episodes worth I've watched, the uplifting yet heart-wrenching story of a teenager learning to value life and those around him. Bit of a recurring theme, ain't it? Now this simple description I just gave wouldn't have done in the eyes of Crunchyroll, as they believed it was better to advertise the series as such. This is a gentle tale. So far so good. It's also the tale of a battle. Really hit the nail on the head with this one. I mean, you may have seen Saitama vs Boros, Tetsuo vs Akira, but you ain't seen shit till you've seen Rei Kiriyama vs Crippling Anxiety, and that's my invitation to hell secured. But while I'm on my Crunchyroll horse, I might as well talk about the trailers they have for various shows they're airing. Problem is, they fail to capture the feel of the series, or leave out the important parts. For example, their advert for Hinamatsuri is kinda shit, mainly because the music played here. The original scene had a completely different effect, as it wasn't building up to anything, which is why the ending twist is so funny. This is undermined by the over-dramatic music in the trailer. I guess music could completely destroy the atmosphere of a scene if misused. On that note, there's also the problem of adding slogans to shows, like what they did with their Citrus trailer. The love affair. With a twist. Funny thing, do you know what that twist is? Incest. They also advertise a lot of isekais, which look a bit shit, but I thought if this is how I get myself publicity, then I might as well make my own. Roll that trailer.
It's hard being this much of a gamer. If only something fantastical would happen to me. I said, if only something fantastical would happen to me.
From the makers of In Another World with my lazy isekai premise.
Oh my god, will this portal take me to another world? Oh god, my acting's enthusiastic.
And Pudding No Drink Desuka.
Okay, I guess I can do that now. Let's do some more, you know. Yeah, gun hands, motherfucker.
Comes the story of a protagonist with the ability to travel through green screens, who gains a harem with a tsundere, a yandere, and his little sister.
Wait, what?
Green screen to another world, because when you're lazy, there is no bottom of the barrel.